Now, as you all know, we have a lot of Star Wars TV shows on the horizon by both Disney and Lucasfilm, including, of course, Mando Season 3, Bad Batch 2, Ahsoka, and a lot of others that are currently and actively in the works, and also in different phases of development, I must add, by FAVREAU and Filoni. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about the new universe by, of course, FAVREAU and Filoni is that they are about to really expand some of the fan-favorite characters out there, like Ezra Bridger, Thrawn, Sabine Wren, Era Syndulla, Kyle Katarn coming into the picture even, as well as Mara Jade, and a whole lot more in the roster that's going to actually fulfill the Star Wars universe. And basically that's what they're doing, is that they are recreating the Legends library to make its way into the official Disney canon. And you know what? This is something, by the way, that Kathleen Kennedy does not like, which is why she's diverting from everything else and focusing strictly on both the Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, both of which are being treated as a blank canvas, having nothing to do with George Lucas's vision. So that brings us to the biggest subject for today, and how it actually does involve John, George, and Dave, and their attempt at creating one of the biggest retcons toward the sequel trilogy, when it all dwindles down to the character of Rey. Now, for all of you that already know, Rey was a very big, deal in The Force Awakens because it opened up a lot of possibilities, right? A lot of fans were trying to figure out who is Rey, where does she come from, what family is she connected to. There were just a lot of questions when the sequels first started actually happening. However, with FAVREAU and Filoni busy with developing many retcons for the Star Wars franchise that is going to impact the sequel trilogy in a big way, one of the big retcons that John and Dave are working on right now is the new name for Rey and its true meaning that will be applied to the canon by next year for the fandom. As of right now, in one of the storyboards that have been finalized for a post-Episode 9 series that is set to feature Rey as a cameo, the done deal right now by FAVREAU and Filoni for Rey's new name is by making her officially named Kira Solana. Both John and Dave are erasing the whole Rey Skywalker canon from history and making it out to be that the name Solana is a surname from her mother, and that Kira is her real name provided by her parents, where Rey was used as an alias, a nickname, or a code name, if you will, to hide her true identity. Now, the name Kira in the upcoming canon material is said to be based on a very famous Jedi named Kira set during the Old Republic era, who perished during the sacking of Coruscant. Rey's mother is said to have obtained many collectibles from this character on the black market, and that John and Dave are making it officially canon now, and rewriting it out to be that Rey's staff comes from the Old Republic origin, and that her name Kira was also based on that character who wielded a double-bladed lightsaber blade as well. Now, I want to pause here quickly for a second. Now, we already know that FAVREAU and Filoni are changing big things with Rey's parents, as well as her overall origin, her bloodline, you name it. One thing we discussed multiple times already is how John and Dave are about to establish that Rey's bloodline is a mixture of both the Kenobis and the Palpatines. Basically, Rey's mother is going to be the daughter of Kenobi's brother, and Rey's father is going to be the true, legitimate son of both Sly Moore and Emperor Palpatine, just like in Star Wars Legends. In a different way, of course, though. Now, what they're doing with Rey's father, I think, is a very interesting one, because they are making it switching from him being a genetic experiment through gene splicing and making him Palpatine's son through, the means of genetic splicing and stuff. But now what they're doing is that they're making him the legitimate son of Palpatine through both Sly Moore and Sheev. And what I like about that is that it kind of dates back to what was somewhat done in Star Wars Legends, and how it did incorporate the extension of Palpatine's bloodline. Now, this is where things begin to really pick up for the Star Wars universe, is that Favreau and Filoni are trying to do this in the most realistic way as possible that's going to resonate with fans. So, further, with Rey's mother set to be connected to that Kenobi bloodline, making her the daughter of Obi-Wan's brother, Favreau is also making it canon once again now, that Rey's father is the son, like I said before, of both Palpatine and Sly Moore. Favreau is making it canon that both Sheev and Sly did indeed have a child in the current canon, and that all of this will be made canon by next year also in upcoming source material for the fans to enjoy. Now, Sly Moore, also known as the Umbaran, was an Umbaran female Force adept with the ability to manipulate the minds of others. Of course, you can see how that would benefit Palpatine because he does the same exact thing to a degree. You know, we saw what he did to Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith. Now, what I like about that is that you can see how they both have two similar traits, right? Palpatine is a manipulator, Sly Moore is a manipulator. It goes hand in hand. It just works. It's Star Wars, right? So, I think the main reason why in the beginning Disney did not want to do this is because they didn't want fans to think that Palpatine had a child with somebody in the literal sense, which is why they went for the whole gene splicing thing, where his son was basically a clone of himself, but genetically as a son because they gene spliced. Now, the thing about this too, about making Rey officially called Kira Solana, can I just say one thing here, is that sounds more Star Wars-y than just a one-word name, flat out Rey. You know, to me, I think Kira Solana has a more fantasy-driven, mythology-driven type of sound to it, and I love it. I think it's great. Now, the biggest question of all, that I think a lot of you are thinking the same as well, are they going to put this in merchandise? You know, are they going to have toys of Rey being replaced with Kira Solana now? Or are they going to have, you know, a lot of other types of merchandise changed up? To be honest with you guys, I don't see that happening. I think that what they are going to do is that they're just going to make it known as a fact that Kira Solana is her true name, but they're going to keep the nature of the name Rey in merchandising, because they know that most fans already know her of that. Most fans just identify her as Rey, you know, so they want to make sure that everything's going to be balanced out and handled in an equal manner. So, who knows, we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens with the merchandise, but the thing about this too that I think a lot of fans need to be aware of is that this is Star Wars, right? There's always some kind of revelation down the road, and I know that you don't want to make it too much of a norm, but that's what John and Dave are all about. They're all about kind of revolutionizing Star Wars, and they're going to be doing that with Grogu in Mando 4, with all these upcoming revelations, by the way, all these amazing reveals that are currently in the works. I purposely, you know, think that Favreau and Filoni want to do this in order to attract the lost fans. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of fans that walked away. They want them back. So, on top of this, guys, you know, let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.